It is day 2, and I think I'm just going to get the engine out because I think that's going to be a lot easier than anything. It's practically out anyway. We've got a couple of wires left and the fuel feed, and then that's it. 4 bolts, lift the engine out. Life should be a lot easier. Is that actually going to be the case? Right, we have the engine free. I have my little assistant keeping an eye out for me. I'm not sure what you're keeping an eye out on, but making sure I don't hurt myself. So give the engine a bit of a tug, and then I need to. Have I done this before? Because it looks like there isn't enough room to get the gearbox off. So the engine's got to come up first. I know I've done this twice, in fact. Move the engine over. Yeah. Ooh, oh, that might be useful.
Yeah, that might help.
That gives me room. Okay. Oh, tipping oil everywhere. Of course, I've got no oil breather on. Okay, that was a bit silly. Right. Get this jet.
Yeah, oh god.
That's good spillage. Okay, so I inadvertently captured the chaos there of me managing to tip all the oil out the engine because the push rods aren't in. I think I've made a gross error here. I think it would have been better to get the push rods out before trying to move the head. So we're learning all the time. I should have done what I was originally going to do, which was strip the engine on the bench. And maybe this issue would have become more apparent. But there we go, we are where we are. I've now got oil spilling everywhere, so that's really good. That would also have been a good thing to do, would be to empty the oil out the engine maybe.
Yeah, that might have helped.
Yeah. Ah well, we are where we are. Ah, ka-ching, that felt good.
Yeah.
Hey!
Oh.
So the head's off. I don't think I am going to be repairing it because I think I've managed to muller the push rod tubes. I think they're at slightly the wrong angle. Bent the push rods. That's quite apparent. What I don't know is how you get the push rods out. Because the rocker gear, I don't know how that's held in there. I'm not showing you any of it. That's another push rod on the floor. Yeah, I don't know how the push rod's actually held in.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's how you do it. You just push the rocker assembly along and then you can ping the push rod out like so, if you haven't bent it horribly. There we go. Learning all the time.
Yay.
Right, now I need to start dismantling the other engine and try not to destroy it. And try not to pour oil absolutely everywhere. So we need to take this cylinder head off. But at least now I know I've got to get the push rods out first. That's what was jamming it up, stopping it coming out.
Do we need to take that bolt out?
Yep, I think that's only finger tight. No, I've wanged it in with a spanner, so let's get some tools. So if we do this, get the cover off. There we go. Now I know if I back the adjusters off with an 11mm, would hope I can lever that out and get it out. But the engine doesn't turn on this one, so this could be exciting yet. I think ideally you'd want to rotate the engine so there's no pressure on the push rod. We haven't got that luxury. I think the thing to do might be to undo these.
That looks pretty important.
Yeah, it probably is. These 13mm head nuts, so we'll take the tension off the valves that way. That sound like a good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah. If only your mother was here, she'd have ideas on this subject, I'm sure. Oh, they're quite tight. Yeah, that's still under a lot of tension. So I need to see if we can encourage piston and cylinder head, sorry, barrel and cylinder head to part. Ah, there we go, done it. So now we can, he says, why won't that come out?
Oh. That's exciting.
Hey, there we go.
Hey,
We got one of the push rods out. And now we need to try and get the other one out.
Careful you don't cut your finger.
Oh, come on. You know you want to come out to exactly where... Oh, no, got it. There we go.
Yay!
There we go. We got both push rods out.
What was that?
There's a cloud of rusty dust, which is usually the sign that you're just about there. Yeah. Okay. I think we're getting close. So are you glad you came down to the unit today?
Yeah.
Oh, good. You're not too frostbitten.
No, not good.
That's good. I don't want to get in trouble with your mother. There we go. That's now sliding. The head is free of the barrel. Oh, that came off much easier. A nice gasket there. We'll just keep that just in case. Yeah, that's a bit of coke, you might say, in there, but looks alright. So we'll get some degreaser on that, clean it up, replace seals, check it on the other engine.
Yeah.
This feels dangerously like progress. Shall we have a cup of tea?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can sit down.
Make use of a pew. Right, I'm cleaning the cylinder head up. On a 2CV we would lap this face down here to ensure it's entirely flat to get a good seal. But there's a lot more overlap on this engine, so I think just that interference fit is going to be enough. I hope so anyway. I'm going to clean that up some more before we get it refitted. It's feeling dangerously like progress. There we go, we've opened up our box of treats. We've got new pushrod seals.
Yeah. They look so cute.
Well, they did. Look, I've got them dirty. Just put. Why would you have white seals?
Yeah. They're gonna get dirty.
Yeah. I think that's all we need to do before the head goes back on. We'll have a new rocker cover gasket as well. Oh yeah, there we go. Just need to encourage that to mate with the barrel.
Yay.
Come on, this is your new friend now. It's never met this barrel before. This is an exciting time for both of them. Oh, look everybody, he's actually got a torque wrench. Is there enough room to actually use it in here? 18 pound-foot is the setting for these. Oh, I'm kneeling right in the oil, that's good.
Yay. You're gonna need new trousers.
Right, so as we remember, the shorter one goes to the front, to the back rather. It gets confusing, yes. Might need to lie underneath and do this one. Try not to lie in the oil, I guess. Maybe I should push the car further forward and then I won't be lying in the oil. First of all, need to move the other engine. That's alright, we'll pick it up as we go. Are you ready?
Yep.
Yeah!
Okay, you good? Oh, need a little bit more. Okay.
I think that should do. Thank you. There we go. Big brain that was, you see. Move so you're not lying in the oil. Let's see if I can actually get the push rods back in. I'm slightly worried I might not be able to, and I should have done this before tightening the head to final torque.
And then you might have to undo the board.
Yeah, let's not even think about that. It'll be fine. Oh, I know what I need to do. Haha, idiot. Is there a small flat-bladed screwdriver down there? Yes, a little stubby one. I'm an absolute idiot. I haven't actually backed out the adjusters. I've only undone the lock nut. So the lesson we've learnt there is don't do the cylinder heads up until you've got the push rods in. But we're learning all the time. Just had a brief lunch break. The boy has gone back home to finish building his Lego Land Rover Defender. That's been keeping him quiet for a few days. I'm still slightly baffled as to why I've got one really loose push rod. I was pretty sure it was a short one that goes at the back, but maybe I was wrong on that. But yeah, I'm not going to know unless I find out. It's either that or I've managed to somehow miss the camshaft when I was inserting the push rod. So yeah, we'll have a look, because one push rod is definitely a lot shorter than the other. I can't really bring you in. I was aware when I looked at part one, but the camera spent an awful long time nowhere near any of the action. So I'll do what I can, but it is quite difficult with this camera. And this compact engine bay. I've got the battery out on charge at the moment, so give her a fighting chance. And right, let's see what we can work out what's going on. Yeah, so it is the inlet push rod seems to be massively loose. No, there's no way I'm getting that on a clearance. That is like a centimetre short. Ow! Oh, I've got myself into a right mess here. I can't go forwards, I can't go back. The engine's half out, the engine is not in. There's a stud coming out the back of the engine which is preventing it from rotating back to be in line to refit it. And I've still got a loose push rod for reasons I just don't understand. But they're still wedged into the chassis and I can't get them out. This has turned into a palaver, which will surprise you not at all, I'm sure. Well, it's taken hours, but I finally had the realisation that if I reattach the engine to the gearbox, and I eventually managed to do that, I could then get the rear engine mount out. So that's done. Oh, so now I need to undo the top mounts here. I should then be able to get the engine out. Right, so I've got one trolley jack is under the engine, one trolley jack is under the gearbox. There should now be room to separate the two. There we go. And the engine is ready to lift out. Oh! Haha! There we go. And transfer it to the floor. Oh! That's interesting. No, it won't. Ah! I might need to rotate the engine. It may be that it's on a compression at the moment. So let's see if that goes in. Let's bring you a little bit closer if I can without destroying everything. So if that's on a compression stroke or a valve compression stroke. Ah, there we go. Aha. Yes, I think that might be it. That's still seems remarkably close. I mean, I'm going to have to... Oh, there we go. We're on. We'll just set that on a fairly eyeballed. And the same on this one, just eyeball the gap. Make sure at least there's a bit of a gap. Don't want quite that much gap. Did I back these heads off again? I think I did. So let's retorque those. Now we think it's right again. Right, there we go. Let's make sure we got a gap. Right, it's a very loose gap, but we're not running the engine yet. Let's make sure we've got a gap on that one. Bit too much gap, I'd say there. We've got a visible gap there. Right. You keep an eye on the rockers, and we'll make sure they rock while we rock the engine. There goes the exhaust, and there goes the inlet. Beautiful, so we have got a functioning engine actually. No one needs to get it back in. But I could not work out what was going on because that push rod was so far in. There are followers, there's a little triangular follower inside, so I don't know if it had somehow missed that. But nonetheless, I think we are actually good now, but it might be time to pause for a cup of tea and just enjoy this gorgeous sunlight. Well, now we've got the engine out, there are a few other things I want to do. The oil cooler needs doing, and I might as well do that while everything's at a nice height. Let's have a look at this distributor again, but that distributor is absolutely solid in the block, so gonna have to give up on that. That distributor is not going to move. Joy of an Invacar is that they're a mixture of ooh, that's tight, of metric and imperial. Let's try and turn that to a position where we're not trying to turn the engine quite so much. There we go. I suppose you don't want these coming undone on you. And now presumably... Aha, there we go. Oh yes. We've got two rubber seals there, which which presumably were where it was leaking. Hopefully not a damaged oil cooler, but we'll give those up, get those out if I can. Certainly those are very hard. So that's the surface we have. Those were the seals, and this is the base. Oh yeah, I might give that a wipe as well. Looks like someone's painted it. Perhaps paint wasn't the best idea, but we'll nonetheless we'll clean that end up as well, I think. As a point of reference, that's an old seal, and I can't even squeeze that at all. That will not bend. This is a new seal, and it seems quite deliciously bendy. Let's see if we can get that to seat in there. It does seem a little larger than the hole, but there we go. Let's chuck the second one in, and then we can drop the cooler back on. It's that simple. I don't know, there's a little bit of crud in there, but I'm not liking the look of. Out you get. I mean, it matters which way around this was, but it was that way around. I'm just looking at how much thread's showing out and trying to keep it fairly even between all the bolts while we nip them up, so we're not pulling anything out of true. Okay, and because it's easy, all the engine's out on the bench rather than trying to do it in the car, I think I'm going to set the valve clearances now. So I need to find my feeler gauges. They're set to 0.2 inlet and exhaust, so we'll get that done. I'll tell you what, my rough guess at valve clearance is not that bad, it turns out. Nice sliding fit on the 20mm. I haven't changed those points ever. They were brand new when I got this engine back together again, but because I'm running points assisted ignition, there's not that much load on them, so that's good, really. Here we go then. Up and down with the knees, bang. Right, and it's not always easy to know where to hold on to this engine. Oh, it's ripped my coats to pieces. That's good. That wasn't quite the angle we were hoping for there. Let's have you back out again. I have got an engine hoist, but amazingly sensibly I managed to block it in completely. There we go. Oh hello, you're still recording. Sorry, I'm just engine's back in, rear mount's back in, and just going to clean that up before refitting it to the engine mount. Oh, I don't think the camera is necessarily capturing just how magnificent the light is, but stopping for a break, we've got all 4 engine mounts are now tight, and the one at the back, so that's good. I've changed the spark plugs, but yeah, I would love to give the engine a run just to check everything's alright, especially as I caught the oil cooler on the way in. I need to make sure that's not leaking. But unfortunately, I've got to assemble quite a lot more before we're ready to run, because the starter motor is the charging unit, and that's kind of one of the last things you fit. So the big charging unit goes here. I need to find new belts. I know I've got new belts somewhere for this car. So I'm slightly concerned I'm going to run out of time, but you can probably hear the kettle is brewing. So we'll get on with it when we can. But I'd just like to say it's very nice to have Ellie back in action again. A few dry days, so Ellie has come out to play, even though all I can do is drive to here. But that's better than nothing, I guess. And yeah, a scene of utter chaos, all very hub nut. But at least I do feel we are actually getting somewhere. But first, tea. Oh, well, I think actually the light levels are diminishing, the temperature is plummeting. I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm very much starting to feel that if I carry on, I'll just make a mistake, like putting the rocker covers on before the rear cowling's on. That doesn't work, so I've got to take the rocker covers off again. And yeah, that's definitely the time to call it quits, I think. So we'll wrap that one up. This is part 2. I was hoping to have a running again in part 2, but to be fair, there's a lot I want to do to this engine. And there are improvements to make. I need to make sure this oil cooler is working, which I can't do until she's running again. I want to see if I can find the lower plates I've never put on and actually put them on. The main benefit with those is if I drive through deep water, the bottom of the engine is effectively uncovered, so water just goes flooding in and steam comes pouring into the car, which is quite exciting because it steams the windows up immediately. It'd be good to not have that problem going forward. So another day's tinkering comes to an end. It's the joy of winter, and yeah, it does quieten down a bit this time of year, but rather than do my usual pachu, I think I'm going to leave you with a wonderful view. Have a look at that. That is perhaps the most majestic diesel tank you will ever see. You enjoying it, Ellie?